In 2008, at the tender age of 17, James O'Connor became the second youngest Australian international of all time. It didn't take long for the versatile back to make an impact, scoring a hat-trick in only his second test. It was a dream start for the Gold Coast teenager, but adjusting to the demands off the field took a little longer.
I was fortunate in a way. I went straight from school to Australian Sevens and then sort of got spotted from there and got picked on the spring tour my first year out of school. So it was quite a lot to take in, and I guess, you know, for me, you're sort of learning on the road, like as you go, sort of how to uphold yourself, and I guess you're thrown sort of into the spotlight, like how to deal with media and, you know, how to speak to people, like how to speak to CEOs of companies and, you know, ex-Wallabies and businessmen that sort of running the country. So that was it was quite a transition for me. Looking back though, I think I definitely grew up pretty quickly.
The caps kept on coming, 37 before his 23rd birthday, but last year's test series against the Lions would prove challenging.
The first game, missing a few kicks, it wasn't too good. I hadn't kicked sort of all year, and our number one goal kicker, Leofano, sort of got knocked out in the first 30 seconds of the game, so that changed, I guess, the whole combination that we'd been working on. You know, we wanted to attack them off second ball player and also sort of goal kicking, so that was pretty tough at the time, but I guess that second game was quite memorable for us. You know, we found our groove and we started getting into it, and forwards really stepped up, and I guess, and then that final test, I thought we had it. Momentum came our way with about 20 to go, and then you know, we just fell apart. Dropped balls at the back there, lost a couple of set piece plays of scrums and a few line-outs and a few missed tackles, and then, you know, they just stormed us over.
Most young men make mistakes, but a series of incidents highlighted in the media led to the termination of his contract with the Australian Rugby Union at the end of last season.
It was an intense period of time, you know. It was a good sort of 8 weeks leading up to it where we were just on a straight and narrow, and you know, losing didn't sort of help. You know, everyone sort of just wanted to get away and have a break, and then we were sort of back into playing rugby again in the rugby championships, and at the time we weren't performing too well. So I guess it's no one else's fault. Like, I just, you know, made a few bad mistakes and some bad judgment calls, I'd say, that I guess aren't usually sort of what I'd be doing, but you know, it definitely did cost me. But if you learn from mistakes, that's one thing that I've picked up along the way, is these little things open other doors up for you, and I think that's probably been one of the biggest things for me to grow as a person, is coming over here and just getting away from everything.
A conversation with former Wallaby Brian Smith, coach of London Irish, persuaded him a move to England's capital would be in his best interests.
When I first spoke to Smithy, sort of we hit it off, and there was a connection there, not only in sort of terms of rugby and sort of where I could see myself improving and sort of what I could bring to the team, but just also on a personal level. You know, we connected, and so, and as well, you know, it's my granddad's pretty happy. Obviously, O'Connor, there's a bit of an Irish sort of heritage there. But yeah, look, it's in London. It's an amazing city, and it'll sort of be good for me to get away from my support group and start playing with a new group of guys and a new culture, you know, a new style of rugby as well.
See you guys later. Have a good one.
With Australia in the same group as England in next year's World Cup, the delicious irony of his London experience isn't lost on him.
You know, I understand so much more about how, just the thought process behind decision-making over here. I guess you have to sort of be in the rugby mode and sort of be in a team and be playing week in, week out to sort of understand that. Like, half the decisions when I first came over here, I was like, why are you guys doing this? Like, what's your thought process behind kicking in this space here when we got front foot ball, or, you know, holding onto the ball and sort of the 22 there and running wide? Like, it's just different sort of focus. It's all about sort of possession and territory and, you know, transferring that pressure over, whereas sort of back home we tend to chance our hand a little bit more. But I definitely think that the English Premiership is closer to sort of international rugby in that respect, and definitely World Cup. World Cup's sort of, well, what I found is sort of based on errors, you know, based on field position and ticking that scoreboard over.
And a return to the Wallabies under Ewan McKenzie remains his primary goal.
I've stayed in touch with Ewan when I left. We had a good conversation, and obviously he didn't want me to go, but I said it was something that I needed to do, and I'm happy that I did that. So he just said as long as I'm in a good mindset and I come back, you know, in a good place, and I'll be available. It's not saying that I'll get selected. There's some good boys running out there at the moment, especially out wide, and so I'm definitely going to have to earn my stripes, and that's one thing I'm looking forward to.